Yeah.
Wow, that was wild. Are we doing a post show? Post?
Yeah, well, we are. We're doing it right
Yeah,
now.
right now. But did I know what I was doing or what?
If you want to claim credit for that, sure.
Please, can I? Come on, man. Man, that was awesome. All right, boys. Congrats again.
Yes.
Completely changes the next game completely.
Yeah, we hope.
Yeah, when you
Anyways,
go on. When you go on. You know what you
just
have to
win.
do.
Yeah, just win. Win in Sevilla. Okay, Misak saying it's a stone cold penalty. He always takes the hard line, though. You can always trust him for that, which you can appreciate. I mean, just call it for what it is. Yeah, Bones saying to be called both ways. Yeah, you can't do that in the box. Yeah, I lean towards that it's probably a penalty. To be fair, I don't know. How did it seem in the stadium? Like your angle's probably shit.
No, I didn't have a clue. You just see Rabiot go down and the Juve bench go nuts. And even after Rabiot came back on the field, Bonucci like screaming at the fourth official, like violently. I'm surprised he actually didn't get carded. But yeah, it was just hard to tell.
Yeah, and Ellie's saying I believe it's a penalty and a second yellow card. And that's interesting too, because a second yellow would have really changed things up as well. So thank you, Ellie, for that. That would have been game changing.
And like everybody, like the air got sucked out of the stadium as soon as everybody was lining up for the kickoff after Gatti's goal, and you see the referee like touching his ear, like he was going to go back and like review something to prevent the goal from happening, but it didn't last very long.
I love Peepo's tinfoil hat shit. UEFA wants Sevilla to be his biggest representative.
How did the Roma game end up?
It was 1-0.
No, they tied it up. Let's see real quick. So final come on, internet. Don't give up on me.
Say hi to Maurizio.
Oh, Maurizio. Sorry, my internet gave up on things here. Oh, yeah, okay, no, it was the other game. Yeah, it was the Fiorentina game that got tied up. Sorry, so Roma won 1-0. Yeah, so 1-0. So Roma ahead. And then let's check the Conference League.
West Ham, I believe, won their game.
Well, Basel beat Fiorentina 2-1. And yes, West Ham beats Alkmaar 2-1.
Yeah.
Oh, so Fiorentina dropping one. Jeez. Okay. Well, Bone says I saw Farad call Allegri himself. Beppe is so furious. Okay, yeah. I can see how it'd be all riled up right now. Gaetano, very bad performance. Yeah, it was.
I mean, it was, guys. I mean, it's exciting that we got the goal at the very end. Like, it's something to end on a positive note. But one shot on goal, I think, through 90 minutes. I think Samuel Illing Jr. had the only shot.
Yeah,
on target,
he had that shot.
Yeah,
like 70 minutes in, and we have no fucking clue what to do with the ball. We like the same way we just pass in a horseshoe in our defensive third. Once we get up into the offensive third, we do the same thing. We just pass it from one wing to the next, and we have no idea how to put in a penetrating ball.
Yeah,
we don't know what to do. Allegri doesn't, like, with Pogba, Milik, Chiesa, Illing Jr., Rabiot out on the field. We should have a clue on how to create something. We don't have a clue.
No. And Fabian here, I love how everyone's getting on the Rugani train here because no Sandro in Spain. We need the Rugani. Imagine at home you're playing under pressure. What happens away? So let Gatti and Bremer, if fit, play. Even Moretti should not play. Yeah, I'm surprised Fagioli didn't get the start either.
Moretti was bad. He didn't have a good match. He played soft. He was soft.
Yeah,
and that's like the worst adjective you can use for an athlete.
Well, he is pretty soft though. That's his biggest weakness.
That's been Maretti this whole season. He's been very soft on the ball.
Yeah, he's got to hit the gym this summer.
He's got to hit up Ronaldo. See if Ronaldo will give him the gym regimen real quick.
And people thinks Allegri was very brave with his substitutions, and Dusan is really thinking of leaving. Perhaps, yeah, just trying to look at how his face was after the substitution. But yeah, I think that's
ripped off his
he looked
cast
angry.
or arm wrap. Yeah, wasn't good.
But that being said, yes, the fact, and that was what we were discussing at halftime. It's like, will Allegri have the balls to make those changes right away, or are we going to wait till the 75th minute? He actually made those changes. Pogba maybe a bit late. Maybe he's still, we don't know how healthy he might be, right? But
Man.
yeah, I think there's a positive call out there for Allegri making those changes.
Yeah, I mean, I was very surprised because usually, Allegri, he'll go and do his substitutions like literally super late on into the game. But for once, we got some early substitution.
Yeah, you work in a bank? I need to open up a bank account or something.
Somebody's needing to open a bank account over there. Is that what I hear?
In Malta. In Malta. We've got an international crowd here.
Oh, that's awesome. Are they heckling you now?
Yes.
Awesome. If you need to go, that's fine. We won't keep you around.
I will drop off here. But that's
right.
that's my parting comment, though. I think if that was Pipo, I mean, we were surprised at halftime. We were saying Allegri wasn't going to make changes until like 25 minutes in. To his credit, he did make the changes, but it's very evident the way that he's coaching this squad, they don't know how to create anything. And when they do, it's through individual brilliance or set pieces, like how the game ended.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Well, on that note, thank you, Kevin, as always. We always appreciate
Good
it.
to see you guys.
Yeah.
Good to see you guys.
Take care. Have a good night.
All right. Forza Juve.
Good alla fine. All right. Yeah, Gaetan, we can't win this Europa League with this bad performance. Probably not.
Oh.
Probably not. Allegri needs to be more smart with his formations. Juventus needs more young blood. I think the formation revolves around who he has at his disposal and what kind of, not what he wants to do, but what he kind of needs to do. Misak saying the lineup was bad. Most of the lineup was okay. There was a couple bad pieces in it. At least this time we made justice for ourselves. Yeah, we should have, of course, done better. Justice. There's some sort of consolation. I don't feel as horrible now. I'm not just like moping away tonight. I'm like, okay, whatever. We're still in this. Dash saying, to be honest, our veteran players were ass tonight, and Dash is an ass man, so he would know it. The veterans were ass.
Yeah.
That's why going back to the substitutions, putting a lot of the younger players on. Chiesa, though, if we want to take a bit of a negative, because I love the kid. I love the kid, but he's not looking good. You'd have expected perhaps by now you would have caught a stride. What are we thinking?
I think yeah. He's not been the Chiesa of old, and it's starting to be worrisome for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I almost would have just liked to just see him stick on that right side because Ilin offered nothing on the right side. So
he dropped off immediately.
Big time.
Yeah. Frankie, I know you're a big Chiesa fanboy as well. How you feeling about it?
Man, it was definitely exactly what Lucas said. I feel like he should have stayed on that right-hand side. Once Illing moved to that right-hand side, like he was saying, it's non-existent. But on the left, he was just offering so much more in the attack than Chiesa. Chiesa, I felt this game was just kind of like, he was just kind of there. He was just trying to get some kind of something done, but he was just getting constantly just taken out. Well, at least Illing was he was getting through, He wasn't 100% getting through all the time, but he was getting through a lot more than Chiesa.
Yeah, it's we hope for the best regardless for Chiesa. It's just tough year coming off that injury. People saying Moretti not ready. Sorry, guys. Is he ready for a loan? That's my big thing. But where I'm going with him is that he definitely needs a solid loan at like a mid-table team. Even I think he's worthy of that.
Loan him to Brighton. They can take him over there and have Zerbi coach him for a year.
Zerbi. I don't know. I would keep him in Italy personally. But yeah, just the Zerbi fanboys. That's all that is.
send him to down to Gattis' old club that's coming up to the Serie A next season.
Oh, was it Frosinone?
Yep.
Yeah, they're coming up again. Classic Frosinone. All right, good for them.
The problem is
I like
Moretti should have been sent this season. You're in a weird predicament now. What do you do with him? He needs minutes, though. Yeah.
Yeah, Catano saying Chiesa's not him yet. Just when it's taken, I don't know. How do you put the timeline on it? It's so difficult. A lot of it's mental. I understand. A player of his caliber, you really just want to see come to life all of a sudden, and he hasn't gone that yet. So we hope that. I mean, 3+ weeks left in the season. Get a couple months to work on things. We might have a different Chiesa next season. I just don't think we're quite going to see it yet in the next few weeks. If we do, man, bonus. But it's patience. Patience is all we need. From Ellie had some amazing moves, but his last pass was bad. Yeah. There's a certain level of polish that he's missing at this point. He's got the ideas, but he can't quite put all the pieces together yet. I don't know. You guys want to add on that?
I agree. I just like what he is right now. He's coming off the bench. That's all I'm saying. He's not a starter yet. And I just think that today, if he would have stayed on the left side, we would have seen more of that. It's just, unfortunate that they did the swap. I don't think it worked out well. But I think one player that's not being talked about, and he's not a veteran for us because he's a veteran in the game, and that's Di Maria. I'm still not impressed with him this season and would like to see maybe Chiesa start over him next game. So, well,
they have done that a little bit more and more. So he very well might do that. It's this one, Sunday, this one or Monday? I don't we play on Monday soon.
Sunday.
I think it's Sunday.
Yeah, I think this one's a Sunday still. I'm gonna Cremonese.
Let me check.
Cremonese and Sunday. Yes, okay. So it's the next week we play on the Monday.
But that game we need to rest some players.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Yeah, because then we play Sevilla again.
So, but I would really like to see. I don't even know what to think of Vlahovic anymore either.
Do we have to talk about Vlahovic? Is it that point where we're starting to talk about it, I guess that's what we're saying. We're at the point where we're talking about the breakup.
Yeah,
and we've tried to be behind him so much, but it's getting so difficult. It's like right now we're staying together for the kids. You guys feel the same way as me, or like am I starting to overreact?
No, I mean it's right in the sense because it's like we're constantly defending him, being like, oh, he's not getting, he has to get more acclimated. We're always here trying to like be like, oh yeah, he's good. He's just right now he's in a bit of a rough patch, and every single time we try to defend the guy, but he's not doing anything to help his case.
Oscar's really trashing the ref tonight. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Look, you can pull up that picture in the Discord I sent. That is Rabiot's leg after the tackle.
Okay, let me look at that.
It looks bad for sure.
It is bad.
He may have to miss a few model and shoots.
Oh no, there's new jerseys to model.
Yeah.
All right, my thing is wigging out here, I think. But I'll get it up. I'll work on it. Yeah, Bones asking why we moved Keys to the left. I still question it. I have no idea. I always liked him on the right. But yeah, my Discord is completely wigged out. I don't know what to say. I'll try that some other time. But Oscar, yes, back to the ref. Bones, I think Keane deserves more time. I thought we were going to see Keane. I've been calling it. I said from the beginning of this whole, like, starting to pregame it, trash can Keane. And that's the other thing I want to pull up at Discord, which isn't working, was Frankie's beautiful photoshopping of Keane that he did last night at 3 a.m.
It's so bad. It's so bad. They're so bad. Oh my goodness.
It's so funny because, I mean, in full disclosure, I wake up in the morning, I let the dogs out, I feed the cats because the cats have to feed while the dogs are outside. Otherwise, I mean, they just get their food eaten. It's pandemonium. And then I get to go do a poop, and that's when I catch up on things. Everyone's happy, and I'm in my throne. And that's what I got to poop to this morning was your amazing photoshops. So I loved it. I was giggling on the toilet. It was great. But yes, Discord is all sorts of fucked up right now. So sorry, I can't pull it up. People saying sell Dusan Vlahovic because his mind is elsewhere. Maybe we need a young.
Bring in Morata.
Yeah. Okay. Now, so you're on the Morata train, are you?
Yeah, I am. I think definitely as a backup striker, if we don't end up going with, and if we don't end up actually like confirming Milik to stay, I would love to have Morata back. He's out of contract at the end of this year.
Yeah.
I think getting him on a free, because Juve love their free agents, and just offer him a contract.
And I don't think he would be give me 10 million type of free agent. He'll be like, yeah, give it a couple million, 2-3 million.
Oh, I mean, Morata loves Juve. He would come back if given the chance in a heartbeat. I mean, he's always said he would love to come back to Juve and end his career there. Mm-hmm. And he's not doing bad right now. I mean, he's the top goal scorer, tied with Griezmann at 13 goals for Atleti.
Yeah, that's not bad. Lucas, do you have any thoughts on Morata?
Yeah, I'm all for it.
Nice.
I don't even know if he comes back as per se a backup, maybe even a third string. I think it really just depends on what happens with Milik and with Keane. Because I think if Keane stays and we don't go with Milik, I think Keane needs to get more minutes because he's younger. But Morata could play the wing as well, and I think that's very huge to have somebody who could play the wing if we do look to let go of Illing, let's say. And just take advantage of the extra profit. But I'm always going to be for Morata coming back. It needs to be in the right market, the right ideas and all of that. If we let go of Vlahovic, I don't think Morata's the guy you bring in. I think Morata's just that luxury player that if we keep Vlahovic, we have someone like Morata, kind of like what we were doing with like Danny Osvaldo a few years ago and even Vucinic, just kind of some of those older guys that could just play squad rotation roles that just love the team. Yeah. So I think we need that. I really I think we need it. And I don't know how you say no to it, honestly. I don't know what Farhad was saying. He's like, no. I'm like, why not? If he's third string, we're doing it with Milik and Keane right now. One of them are going to go. Probably Keane. It's like, bring in Morata. Why not?
Yeah. And we have to really think seriously. Are we playing in Europe next season? If we're not playing in Europe, what's the squad going to look like? And who are we going to keep? You're probably not going to keep Vlahovic. So you cash in. And if you're not competing in Europe and you're not potentially competing in Europe for the next 2 years, there is no pressure to get top 4, 5, 6, whatever. As long as you don't get relegated, all you have to do is build up a strong core and do a proper rebuild from scratch, knowing that it doesn't really matter if you finish first or 17th, essentially.
And I know everybody wants this whole youth revolution with Yildiz and some of these guys, but it's like at the end of the day, like we're not having a good season. So it's not like this youth is really showing us positive results as a club. They're individually having great performances, but it's not resulting in us having a good season. We have a young striker, so it's like when you have a young striker that starts, you need to have old guys behind him, and that would be now Morata, now Milik, the milkman. Got to sell those shirts.
Yeah. So let's just hypothetically say we can't compete in Europe for the next 2 seasons, and we don't need to invest in a top striker. Then, yeah, you cash in Vlahovic. You have Milik. Then potentially now Morata and Keane. And you cycle between those 3 guys.
I think Keane goes either way. Unfortunately, I actually like. I think Keane is better and brighter than Milik, but I just don't see Keane. I don't see you having 2 strikers that are young. I think Keane goes no matter what happens.
But you wouldn't. That's what I'm saying. You have the 2 old guys. You have Morata and Milik, the 30-year-olds, and then you have Keane, and you just give Keane more playing time and try to develop him for a year or 2, and then once he's developed, then he can decide if he's good or not, or then cash in. Again, it doesn't matter if you finish 1st or 17th. You're just trying to rebuild the team, and that could be a good investment piece in either cashing out or getting this guy enough playing time to the point where, yes, maybe he should play at the top level. Because he's still young as well.
Yeah, for me, I don't see it. I think if we're not playing any Europe at all, I think it's Morata, Milik, and then you look at someone like a Yildiz or someone just completely like as your 3rd string young guy, and you just work with old guys that just love the club that's going to put up with just fighting in Serie A.
Well, you can't really bank in on a Yildiz though yet either, because I mean you have to let him play in the under 23, the next gen first before you can even consider that. Right?
Like someone like him, just young, and will play some of the Copa games, let's say, but to just play in Serie A, it would be Morata and Milik for me at least.
Yeah. And it's of course hypothetical. It's just the fact that he loves Juve. He would have come on a free. It would be a very economical option. 30-year-old, I mean, decent, having a good season. So
yeah. I mean,
I know other channels would very negatively go against what we just said. But anyways, Frankie, sorry, what were you saying?
No, I mean, yeah. I mean, if you're gonna talk about like a young striker, come in maybe like if that Moise Kean does end up leaving, I did post it in Discord, and it is obviously my Mexican bias, but he actually is a really good striker right now, specifically for Feyenoord, and the reason why they were doing so good in Europa League, the reason why they're at the top of the table is Santiago Jimenez. He's 22 years old. He's young, He's this guy's on 14 goals for the season in 29 matches, so he's pretty much scoring a goal every other game. Like he's a good player. And he's half the value of what Keane would be essentially as a player, like money wise.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of options, and I mean we're not scouts that really scurry all these minor leagues per se, but yeah, there probably are gems like that, like you mentioned, that you can pick up on.
And we could have these conversations, but at the end of the day, if we bring in a new sporting director, the last thing a new sporting director is going to want to do is bring in old players. Like he's going to want to show his new ideas and show why he's in this new position. But yeah, I mean, the Feyenoord striker for sure, top player. I mean, Feyenoord's had such a good season.
Man, they're doing phenomenal this season.
They really have. But yeah, if we do bring in Napoli's guy, I don't see Morata coming back, or like it's going to be a brand new revolution for sure. That is needed for sure.
It is, yeah. Something's needed. We know that. However, it turns out. And that being said, Gintoli is looking more and more likely as the days pass. I don't want to say it that it's official because it's not. But it's looking pretty good at this point. So we'll see. We'll see. It all kind of gets the check mark and Juve officially announced. Hopefully soon, but more than likely after the end of the season. So another month.
Like it's pretty much 100. It's pretty concrete that it's going to happen, but yeah. Don't want to count your chickens before they hatch.
Yeah, exactly. People trust Keane more than Dusan. I think I do too. Keane has better positioning with Pogba will make a difference. Yeah, we haven't really seen that matchup at all, right? So maybe we need to.
I don't know about positioning per se, but I think what Keane gives you, it's like even when he's playing bad, he still gives the garbage goals. So maybe that's where you mean by positioning.
Yeah.
Vlahovic puts himself in really good spots, but he just does not score ugly goals when he's playing bad. And I think that's the difference between King and him. And ultimately, that's why Vlahovic starts more, but because he needs to be out there for 60 minutes to find a way to score. But Keane can be out there for 10 minutes and scores. But the weird thing is Milik, because of how cheap he is.
Yeah, he's super cheap. And we're getting corrected by Ellie. Morata still has 1 year on his contract. That's me. I misspoke. I was pretty confident. My memory horrible.
I could have sworn he was only until 2023.
Yeah, I did as well.
Did he get an extension? I could have sworn he was.
Are we going to fact check live? He was the most trusted source of transfer market.
He got a I think he got an extension until 2024.
Oh, okay. I did not know that. So
yeah, they had an option to automatically extend his deal, and I guess they went through.
All right, you got me, Ellie. Sorry. Thanks for correcting us. Or me. It's all my fault.
I could have sworn he was done in 2023. Yeah, that's what I had seen. But I guess he got an extension.
Look, if we're gonna go anywhere to the past, any player for me has to be Verratti. If we're gonna go anywhere, if we're gonna go backwards, quote unquote, in any sense, not Morata, it's Verratti, man.
Bring Mandzukic out of retirement. Put him on the wings.
Oh, it's
that
the guy. It's the love story that should have happened long ago.
Oh yeah, I would have loved to see
sure.
Verratti definitely in his younger years come to Juve. That would have been phenomenal. But I mean, even now, I think I would take a Verratti. But
yeah, I would too. I mean, if we're gonna go with anybody old, anybody over, if we're talking about players like Morata, bringing the past back. Not that Verratti played for us, but he was a player that's been linked since he was at Pescara.
Especially if Rabiot is pretty much going to be going to the EPL at this point. I mean,
yeah, I see it. I see it every day.
You bring in Verratti,
but I think Verratti would come with at least competing for something. Yeah. I don't know if he'll just come for the vibes.
He did PSG. He didn't compete for anything at PSG.
I was going to say that he's used to not competing for anything over there.
But like if we get banned from competition, right, where there's just no chance of competing. I don't know, but Evgeny Brodavkov, if I said that incorrectly, please tell me, because I'm sorry, not the greatest at all the languages, but sending greetings to Kev. So right on. I guess ran into him probably in turn. Kev was here not too long ago, so sorry you missed him, but yeah, let him know. All right, so Dash says he's coming in 10, so that's on him. He's gonna have to take over for me. I gotta go do wife stuff in a little bit, but we'll go on for now. I'll just do the old high five and dip out. Okay, well, what else is there to talk about? I mean, it was the 1-1 draw that took the 98th minute. 2 games in a row, actually, to go to the 98th minute.
Yeah.
But what I would like, I guess, talk about quickly is I would just like to see the guys that came off of the bench today start against Cremonese. I would like to see Chiesa start. I would like to see Pogba maybe get 45 minutes in. Just keep pushing the ladder on him. Just because mentally he seems to be more ready to go than Chiesa, and physically Chiesa just seems to be better. So I don't know how you work with that other than give Chiesa a start. I know that's such a crazy thing to say, but give him a start, and maybe Pogba, maybe a start or coming in at halftime. We need to see some of those guys. Like Chesney and Perrin says, I'm not opposed to seeing at least Perrin start for Cremonese. Chesney needs a rest, get his mind refocused, ready to go. I don't think
that's fine
today, but
yeah, Tech hasn't really played bad at all. Might have had a couple moments, but for the most part, he's been pretty solid. But sure. Perlin's awesome. Put him in.
He got sent the wrong way today, Tech. But I mean, it's just unfortunate defending there. He was caught.
Yeah,
I know it wasn't his fault.
I thought he played fine, but I think if he doesn't get rest, maybe he may not play fine.
I think for Cremonese, we got to see the Rugatti duo. We got to see Rugani and Gatti play, and probably Danilo. Let Rugani be that center, play Danilo on the left, and you gotta have Gatti on the right, man.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what you do. I like that. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be rotation again. We're going on, I think, something like 64 games. Don't quote me exactly on that number, of having a different lineup. It's been since like 2021, like where we just don't have the same starting 11. It's crazy. We can't keep it the same, and it won't be the same. Oh, what are Thursday? So 3 days time. Man, it comes so quick. Man. All right, David here. To be honest, I think the way that the game ended, I felt like a win, and maybe a less than for the away game. If we tied in the 60th minute with a boring ending, I think our chances would be worse than now, actually. Perhaps, mentally.
I think who scored at number one is huge. I think the symbolism of what Gatti is, of feeling like the past and the future at the same time. I think the symbolism of who scored is huge. I think scoring in the end shows our quality, shows our fino alla fine mentality and our idea that we're never out of any single game, even if we play poorly. I think gives us that confidence in Sevilla. It's like, look, we played bad and still tied. I think that mindset is huge. Huge. Because like I said, I don't think it could get any worse than how we played today. So it's like we can only look up, and it really shows that like this is all you have, Sevilla. Okay. This was our worst against your best. So maybe we go there and it's a 2-1 win. So
he almost got it stolen from him too. Milik almost came in and stole that goal.
Yeah,
and we never did go through the stats, but here it is. We had 59% possession. XG was 2.1 to their 1.5. Total shots 11-13. Big chances 2-3. Chances missed 1-2. Accurate passes 85 to 78%. Fouls is 9 to 17. Offsides 3 to 0. Corners 5 to 4. We kind of did all right on the stats, honestly. It really didn't look like that. 429 passes to their 266. You would have expected an attacking Spanish team to maybe do a little bit better in that department.
Minus the shot on target. We had good stats except for the shots on target where we literally didn't have one until Illing, but yeah.
Yeah, and offsides. But yeah.
Sevilla did not play good. It was just we played bad.
And that's what exactly, because that's what I'm trying to point out. Like, we're trashing Juve so much, but
oh yeah, Sevilla came out flat. They came out flat. It was just
like they didn't really show like they could win over 2 ties at all. Like so I am confident going into the second leg for sure. Maybe an outside neutral, maybe that doesn't know Juve that well or something, or doesn't know Sevilla that well or something, maybe might look at this game and think, ooh, the name brand Juve didn't win. Oh, maybe Sevilla's got that underdog in them. I don't see that being the case here. I think if this game ended 1-0, though, I think it's a different story for sure.
Yeah.
I think we go in there with less confidence.
Speaking of confidence, Dash is on his way in. Better late than never. He's still in his work polo.
Oh, look at this cutie. He looks good.
Hey, yo.
Look at him.
Trying to go out to dinner or what?
Yeah, no, I was trying to take Gatti out because Gatti's the only person on this team that can finish for some reason. But
don't you love him?
Well, the thing is like I'm really pissed off. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, I'm legitimately fuming because I honestly was like, I spent 95 minutes watching utter garbage.
You are pretty red today.
I am. Well, it's just fun, but the thing is like, I'm more mad at our more experienced and senior players than I am at the younger guys. Like, the sad part is our season has literally been defined as the next gen keeping us up. Like, we're not performing well because, again, our starters are absolute meat. Like, my thing is this, and this is what kind of irritates me, is like, Locatelli, outside of sliding really hard at people, what do you bring? I have not seen this man dribble the ball, have a successful touch, maybe one or two good passes. But the thing is why I'm starting to get irritated is I see a midfield of Locatelli and Rabiot, and they literally do the same thing. They tackle people very hard. Like can we be honest here, folks? I have not seen at this point, Gatti has delivered more dimes than Locatelli has. Like, let that sink in for a minute.
Dash, I will say, I think Rabiot and Locatelli work when you have a Pogba out there, opposed to a Moretti.
I understand that, but they didn't have a Pogba in there until the end of the game.
Yes.
So you have a Moretti who isn't a ball playing midfielder, or he is, but he's not strong enough to be that guy. Because, like, for example, if you have a Miralem Pjanic and then you have a Pogba, or not a Pogba, a Rabiot and a Locatelli, I'm okay with that. Because Pjanic can move the ball. Moretti can't move the ball. Pogba, yeah, he can move the ball. He can dribble, because Pogba's the only person in that middle of the field that I've seen actually take people on and beat them off the dribble. Where it's like, for example, Chiesa, I love this kid, but holy hell, man. Like, if you look at Chiesa, if you give Chiesa an Xbox controller, he's literally sprint and that's it. Because, like, if I look at Chiesa's movement, it's just put head down, run forward, and then weak pass into the middle, where it's just like half the time I'm like, dude, relax. Because, like, I was furious when he switched with Illing, because Illing cooks on the left because it's Illing's foot placement. The way that Illing runs works on that left wing. Chiesa, wanting to try to start something himself, goes in that spot and shifts Illing over, which, again, Illing's not good on the right side. And then it's like, okay, Chiesa, you're here. What are you offering? Lowers his head, runs straight to the touchline. That's it. And the thing is like, Dusan, for me, Dusan needs to pack his bags and leave Turin tonight, in my opinion.
There we go.
I'm sorry, because the thing is, I said this at halftime. They're offsides, and we dogged Alvaro Morata for being the king of offsides, but at least the dude finished them. Dusan's doing some weird off-brand crane kick on the first one and absolutely misses it entirely. And then the second one, he cuts over to his right side, even though the dude has no existent right foot. Like, Paulo Dybala has a better right foot than Dusan Vlahovic, and Dybala doesn't even use his
Paulo.
right foot.
It's bringing Paulo into it.
I'm saying it, but I look at it, and then Dusan does this weird outside of the foot Trivela in a terrible angle with his left foot. And again, offsides, yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter, it won't count. But if you're a striker, you finish it. Even if it is offsides, you bury it. Alvaro Morata, hat trick against Barcelona that was offsides. He finished every single one of those chances. You need to, if you're a striker, if you are, again, the dude, because right now I'm about to go to Rocco Comiso and hand him a card that says, thanks, man. You conned us out of 80 million. Like, let's be honest here.
As they lose to Basel.
Yeah, right? But the thing is like, I look at it again, and I want to support Dusan. Dusan with an amazing goal against Lecce. Awesome goal. And then a free kick-esque goal against Atalanta. And then it's like, you look at him at this game against Sevilla, and then I'm like, what am I watching here at this point? And then same thing, and I'm not, Milik was absolute trash as well. Like, for example, Milik at the end of the game could have lined it up for Chiesa to slot it into the corner while Chiesa's on the right. The dude doesn't even look at him and kicks it right at the defender. To me, it's just Allegri's system is let my offensive players cook. That's literally Allegri's offensive system. I will make sure that the defense is organized. I will let my strikers and midfielders dictate play. It's how a lot of old coaches did stuff. But like, and I'm almost going to turn into Misak real quick. But like, outside of Pogba, our midfielders have no clue, even if you bought them one. Like, for me, it's like I sit there, I'm like, okay, throw a penetrating ball. It's like I sit there and Locatelli has a brain fart and crosses it on the other side of the field. It's like, dude, relax. Like, the thing is, it's the same thing with Milik and Dusan. Check back in, 1-2 out wide. That's all you need to do. I don't understand why these strikers, Dusan, Milik, and sometimes Keane, just feel like hugging the center back. Like, the center back doesn't love you. He makes you sound like he sounds like he does, but he doesn't.
They like when they whisper in their ears, all those
Because
naughty things.
like out of all the wingers that we have, I respect Illing because Illing goes up to their right back and says, "All right, buddy, I'm going to take you to the dance. You might step on my feet, I might step on yours, and I might sit you on the ground, but I'm going to do it." For me, it's like Chiesa looks at a defender and he's like, "Oh, let me cut on the outside because I'm not going to cut in because I'm too afraid." Like, dude, like Chiesa, man, you're a professional athlete. At this point, it's either you sink or you swim. You get hurt, you get hurt. Right now, you're not helping your stock at all. Let's be honest. It's just my thing is like I understand you had the documentary dedicated towards you to coming back. You're back, you're playing, but like at the same time, it's just like, dude, like come on, man. Like Federico Gatti's willing to take the ball coast to coast, dribble and put a shot and get a penalty against Freiburg. And this isn't me trying to gas Frankie up because it's honestly it's facts at this point. Where it's like, for example, Rugani of all players is sitting there stiff arming Zapata against Atalanta, where Bonucci's sitting there grabbing his groin like, maybe I shouldn't have started today, huh, guys? Maybe I shouldn't have leaked some bad news to certain people so I could get my playing time back. But
yeah,
like,
so actually, I got some official. Bonucci has an adductor problem.
he's had the adductor problem.
Yeah,
it got re-aggravated. It got re-aggravated.
He's done. Just bench him. It's fine. He
got to be done for the rest of the season. He has to.
And then this is where I kind of put Allegri. I hold Allegri to the fire for this one. How do you start 3 of the slowest players as your starting back 3? What world does that make proper sense to you? Sandro, he can't fully sprint. Bonucci, you guys saw that counterattack where everyone's like, for the goal that they scored, where the hell is Bonucci? The dude's sitting there, like legend still says Bonucci's still chasing that counterattack right now. That's how late he was to that one.
He was still in the midfield. He was in the midfield still. I was like, where is this guy? Where is he? Bro's in the midfield.
We meme and we laugh about Rugani, but at this point, I would rather just start Gatti, Rugani, and Danilo. If Bremer's injured, those are my 3 that I'm playing.
We said this all before, but you're doing it a lot more animated than any of us.
I'm sorry. I'm just heated. I'm just like really, really heated. And I'm probably going to get clipped and taken out of context. And everyone's like, look at Dash lost his shit, but fuck it. It's fine.
Yeah,
but
some guy was calling you out earlier for being an Allegri stan.
An Allegri stan? Well, okay, great. Who are you going to put in? Zidane? Those people that call me an Allegri stan are the same nincompoops that want Zidane as the coach, and then they're going to be like, what the hell happened? Like seriously, there is no coach right now who could seriously, if you put him in right now, would change anything.
If anything, today proves just what Dash just said. I mean, these players, these are sorry players. A lot of these guys that are still making the mistakes are the players that we gave sorry to just like were used as pawns and chess pieces, right? Because that's how he coaches. And now you have Allegri who's just like Dash said, just go out there, express yourself, figure it out, right? Because you're professionals, you have won things. Who am I to tell you what to do? These are not the players to do that. Moretti is 19 years old. Fagioli just got back from Cremonese. Like, this is Serie A is still not his niche. Keane, who is Keane at this point? Like, he's got it in him, but he doesn't at the same time. Vlahovic and Milik are basically the same player, and it's just like you can only have one. And these are sorry players that need to be kind of let go, and you bring in a few more of Allegri's pieces, or you just scrap it and bring in a new coach, and you call it as it is, and you rebuild the entire structure from ground up. What's the smarter financial move? Maybe keeping Allegri, giving him a few more pieces, getting rid of some of the guys that don't fit that type of scheme, and you call it a day.
All right, sorry, because my processor was optimized.
Like Dave said, he threw everything out there, and it's just, do we have the quality, yes or no?
I disagree with the Rugani's weak comment. We have a video clip of him absolutely stiff arming Zapata.
I'm about to say I went and I found that.
Frankie legitimately has a clip where Rugani, like Zapata's coming in, Rugani literally just says, "Get off me, man! You're too small."
Like Zapata is known for being like a big
bruiser,
and he made him look like a child.
Yeah, for sure. All right, I actually have to head out. I mean, I put 3 hours in, so I mean, by law, I think I have to move around anyway. So, Dash,
I got it.
You're in charge.
I'll run it for another 10, 15 minutes.
Right on, guys. Thanks. It was fun today. Maybe we'll make some clips of the crazy shit. We'll see what happens. Peace out.
Goal, please.
Gosh, I'm so curious who called me the
Have a good night,
stand.
Dave.
It was like some random. I've never seen them before in the chat. I don't remember. Ever
What was the
them
question,
before.
Dash? I'm sorry. What was
No, I'm curious who called me the Allegri stand.
Oh, hold on. I'll find it. That was funny, dude. I started dying laughing.
I'm just very
You just
curious.
clipped me laughing. I was just laughing like, what?
Because like the thing is like I love it where if you like give an objective argument where you say, hey, you can't do this. Oh, you're an Allegri stand.
Oh, his name is Ari Riai.
I don't even know who that is.
Riahi. It happened at 3:50 or like around that time.
That's I don't think I
never
have.
seen him before.
What did the comment say?
Shit, hold on.
It was just like, where's the guy who like something Allegri?
Yeah, where is the guy who loves Allegri to mock all criticizers? It happened at 3:50.
I'm right here.
I mean, that was I start dying laughing.
I know, but the thing is like, and that's how I know that someone doesn't really watch the entire clip of context. Because the thing is like, I'm not sitting here and saying, oh my gosh, we got to defend this guy with all. There's times where I've said, hey, his starting lineups are terrible. Today, his starting lineup was terrible. Previous games, his starting lineups are terrible. I'm saying that because the thing is what irritates me, and this is one of my things where I'm low-key kind of calling out some Juve content creators and also some people on Twitter. There's not a gray approach anymore. It's either yes or no. There's no, well, hey, this kind of stinks, but also look at the benefits of this as well. There's none of that anymore. Where it's like, for example, I saw this one argument between a Milan fan and a Juve fan where the Milan fan is saying our Milan starting lineup is actually technically a little bit better than the Juventus one. And I was like, okay, hold on. That's first of all, I'm sitting in my set. I'm like, that's kind of bait, but I also understand it at the same time because here's the one thing about Milan that's different about us is Milan's midfield knows how to move the ball forward. Our midfield does not. We have better wingers. Milan has ass wingers besides Leao. We allegedly have better strikers. Milan has Olivier Giroud and Mimi Origi. But like, sitting there and I'm like, that guy makes kind of sense. I totally understand it. But the Juventino in the Twitter thread was like, no, you're absolutely mad. I can't believe you're saying that. It's like, bro, like us as a fan base, we need to stop living in absolutes. Like I'm
or the
here.
Past.
That too. And having unrealistic expectations. Because like, for example, I've seen other people say, well, the team Juve is built is made for the Scudetto.
What? With fucking 19-year-olds?
Really? Really? And this isn't me dogging our team because we had probably one of the most unfortunate seasons ever. One of the stupidest seasons, and it's only going to get worse.
And we're still in second place. Just throwing that out.
Points wise, yes, we're still in second place, barring whatever Coney and FIGC want to do with us. But look, I'm going to be honest with you. Our next gen is one of the main driving forces that's keeping us in second place. So it's a terrible season. Yeah. By 9 Scudetti standards, it's a terrible season. Isolate the season by itself and you look at the certain external factors, we actually pulled it out, unfortunately. And KB says penalty. Yeah, I saw that. I thought it was a penalty because that to me was ridiculous. You go in cleats first into a dude's calf as he's shooting the ball. You're obstructing a goal scoring opportunity. I think that's a penalty.
Yeah, I got pictures and stuff that I put in the
if it was Argentina, I was gonna say if it was Argentina, Messi would get his 12th penalty in the World Cup. So if that was the case,
and if you want to say, which is just a funny argument to have on its own, if you want to say Milan have a better start in the line than Juve, then I will agree with you, sure. But then there has to be one determinant factor of why they're in second and Milan's in fifth, and then you have to look at the coach. So now we're just gonna say, all right, Allegri is better than Pioli, which will send a lot of people in flames too, because a lot of people think Allegri is the worst coach on the planet.
Because the thing is like Milan's midfield gels better than ours. That's the honest truth. Like their midfield, same thing with Inter as well. And I'm not sitting here sympathizing for those other clubs. Like bleep them. I hope they both lose in the semifinals, but it's not possible. The thing is like their midfielders gel a hell of a lot better than ours. Because like the thing is they have the correct pieces. They're just not the best quality. Like, let's be honest. Like,
They
they're
have
not the.
They have
Go
a
ahead.
bishop. They have a rook. They have their knight. They have the pieces in the right places. But like you said, it's the quality of those bishops, knights, queens, whatever it is, right?
Exactly. And that's the thing there. The problem is right now is we're running 2 rooks and a bishop, where you might want to have a queen instead of the bishop in the middle of the park. So it's like you can't, we can't sit there and just be like, oh, we can't be absolutely bonkers of it. I'll answer that question perfectly well. Why did Milan stink so bad yesterday? Because their wingers are absolute garbage without Leao, because Junior Macias one-on-one with the goalie decides to send it into the stands. That's the thing. Milan's midfield did decent. It's just, when you don't have Leao as your out route, your whole offense is stifled. But like, for example, again, Inter's midfield, Mkhitaryan and Barella and company. It's just better quality.
No, it just shows why we can't just throw Ailing out there. It's not easy to be a winger. Like, people just think anybody could just go do that position because there's so much leeway on the defensive side that they don't need to be so strong man marking wise and stuff. But it's like, you still have to know what to do when you have the ball in 1v1s. And yeah.
The thing is,
yeah,
good. And the thing as well is, like, for example, when you don't have Leao, Milan play differently, because the thing is when you're Inter, you have to be afraid of Leao, because Leao literally dribbled Napoli for the goals in the Champions League. You don't have Leao, it's a different story. But again, as a unit, their midfield gels better than ours. Our players might be better quality. Like, for example, Pogba's obviously miles ahead of Tonali. Let's be real here. Same thing with I think Locatelli and Benacer. I think Locatelli has a bit of an elbow over Benacer. But again, Milan play with a double pivot in the middle of the pitch. They have a player, Tonali can pass the ball, move the ball forward. Benacer is the defensive cover. And then Brahim Diaz is almost like their poor man's Dybala in a sense. For them behind their striker. Again, they just don't have a striker, and they didn't have wingers. That's why they didn't have an offensive threat against Inter. So Inter was like, hey, let's press. They're not going to do anything. Good friend Wings of Winter. Indeed, their midfield gelled well. They have an understanding of each other. We've made so many wrong passes because our players don't understand each other, and changing coaches won't help it. Thank you. This is probably the most biased or the based take ever. Because, like, for example, you look at some of the passes we make, you look at some of the zones, the spaces, and everything that we're occupying. It makes no sense. I was watching it, and a coworker said, that looks like a pickup game, not a professional game. And I'm like, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Because it's the honest to God truth. Because, like I said, when you have a Rabiot and a Locatelli and you don't have a conductor, you don't have a Pirlo, you don't have a Marquisio, you don't have a Pjanic. Because the thing is what Pjanic did, because our midfield with Pjanic wasn't anything fancy or anything like that. But what Pjanic would do, Matuidi, you cover this area, you do this. Khedira, move over here, do that. So Pjanic is the guy that's over. He used to touch the ball 100 times a game, easy. And he's moving the ball, dangerous on the set piece, all of it. Where it's like, for example, for us, we want Di Maria to be that guy. And I just don't see him as that guy. I think Di Maria, as you get him isolated on space on the right wing, and he makes something happen there. I don't think Di Maria in the middle of the pitch is really anything special, in my opinion, as a number 10. I don't like him there as a number 10.
No, Dybala would have did the job better.
And this is and this is where I kind of sit here, and Dave and I played the huge what if situation where what if we never bought Dusan and just kept Dybala, because we're almost playing a system where we kept Dybala, where Dybala would have actually done decent in. Because the thing is we played 4-4-2 the previous season, didn't work for Dybala, it made no sense for him. This year we're playing a 3-5-2 where the second one is the striker in the hole. So it's just like it just blows my mind. Like, I think we absolutely got duped by Fiorentina. Again, Dusan had the calendar year for goals and etc. But if you guys can't sit here and objectively look at Dusan and say Dusan is a one-dimensional player, you got to take your glasses off, man. Like, you got to take the anti-Allegri glasses off.
So teams sell their big name players for 2 reasons. Either A, because they don't think they're really that good, like let's say Vlahovic, or 2, they have somebody better, like Benfica did with Darwin Nunez and having Ramos in the back. Fiorentina went to go buy Cabral, who scored today, actually. But they had to go buy another player to replace Vlahovic. So they didn't have somebody better in the ranks. So either A, they didn't think he was really that important to their team, and they could just go find literally anybody else at 24, 25 years old. Like, it just... They duped us with Berna, I think, maybe.
They did. No, they 100% duped us with Berna.
I still like Berna, and I think he was misused a lot.
For $6 million a season, that's ridiculous. He was way too high for the place he was at.
They did not dupe us with Chiesa. He just had an injury, but I think they maybe got us again with Vlahovic. Unless we could find a way to sell him for good money to a PL team and just kind of break even and call it quits, I don't think we really got duped.
I love you, Pipo.
Call up Arteta right now. Arteta, man, we got somebody for you.
Yeah, and David saying also Tonali and Benacer have played together a couple of seasons, already learned to gel and with each other consistency. It's roughly about two to three seasons that they've played together. Rabiot and Locatelli have played together for 2 to 3 seasons. It's just that Regista role we've never filled out completely. And then Gompachiro wants to watch Inter lose. Personally, I'd rather see Inter go to the final and get like 5-0 against Manchester City or Real Madrid. That's more entertaining because you want to know what's funny? All of these Milan and Inter fans are saying, if we make it to the Champions League, our season's a success. It's incredible. But when Juve loses to arguably the best Barcelona and Real Madrid team, they're a bunch of losers. Let's laugh at them. Ha, 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 ha. And now they're going on their PR campaigns to say, guys, cheer for us because we're going to get slaughtered in the final. But we brought Serie A justice by going to the Serie A or to the Champions League final.
Yeah, wasn't it about all the friends we made on the way?
Yeah,
all the
hypocrisy.
Sheffrin and Coney friends we made on the way.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I just sit there and I just laugh because if you're a Juventino and you support any of the Milan teams in the final just because of Serie A, like please just hand in your jersey at this point because how can you support a league that's essentially backstabbed us twice? Because if they go in the finals or if they win the final, Serie A gets that money. And to be honest with you, I don't want Serie A to get a dime of after what they've done to us.
First year in my life that I've not like when I was talking to David about it. Like normally I do support Italian teams. Inter, it's tough. But like, even like when Conte was there, I was like, okay, if they win the Europa League, it's not the Champions League. Like I like Conte and like I like Italian teams. There's a lot of Italian players at Inter. Like I'm not going to root for them, but I won't be like super. But like the last 2 years of like, especially this season, I'm so like, I don't really want Serie A teams to win, right?
I saw Fiorentina lost. I celebrated.
I was just like the last 9 years when it was just Juventus, they're like, oh, it's bad for Serie A. It's bad for Serie A, you know, that these teams are not doing well. But it's like now, like, I don't care anymore. It's like if they lose, they lose. Like the Italian national team is shit right now. Like, Juventus were the only team to really try to improve the league the last 9 years. Nobody appreciated them. Like we lost to the two best, arguably teams in history, or like in Champions League history at least. And it's like, should I go have that same approach if Inter loses to Man City's best team in history if they win the CL?
You clown them. You clown them just like they clowned us. That's my thing.
There needs to be the same energy.
You know, and the funny thing is, I'm not going to quote him verbatim, but I love this one time where someone asked Giuseppe, our good friend Giuseppe, hey, Beppe, wouldn't you be happy if an Italian team won the Europa League or something like that? And his answer was like, no.
Yeah.
No. Why would I be? All those teams wanted to destroy us. Why would I celebrate an Inter Cup or a Milan Cup or anything like that? Where it's like, yeah, I obviously our rivalry with Inter and whatnot, but why would I give them that? Kudos they won, just like we did to Napoli. But it's stuff like that. Like we remember all the crap that people said to us the previous 9 years. Bones is asking, do you think if Rabiot leaves and McKennie comes back, you think McKennie would do better because the same thing? I feel like McKennie's a better passer. The problem why McKennie moved is Locatelli, Rabiot, and McKennie all do the same thing.
Yeah.
They almost entirely do the same thing. The Locatelli's Regista is a failed project. I'm going to be honest. It's a failed project. He hasn't shown that he's evolved into a Regista, hasn't displayed any capabilities of a Regista, which is fine. I have no issues with that because that just wasn't his thing. But if you have all three of those on the same team, you literally have three players for a single slot, and it just makes no sense.
I would make the argument, Bones, that I think Zachariah could do the role better than McKennie. If we're going to talk about who deserves like a revival, right, on the 3 lone players coming back, it's definitely for me Zachariah. I think he could replace.
And then Gumpachiro saying, nah, bro, if they make the final, they'll park 11 players inside their goal and win the most boring final. To be honest with you, as much as I believe you there, I think it's just a quality gap between the other bracket and the Italian bracket is way too big. Unless the Italian teams literally throw all their players into the net.
It doesn't help that obviously Elkman did it a few days ago, but it still doesn't help that our higher ups are saying there's such a gap between Italy and England. Like, what does that do psychologically when you're telling your players, all right, we're going to park the bus for 90 minutes against who we're being told is still superior than us?
Yeah, and Inzaghi doesn't. He's not a park the bus coach either. Neither is Pioli as well. So they're more so kind of soak up pressure and do quick counters, not like a hunker down and keep it low. JJ is asking, I'm starting to wonder if what this team would be without Allegri. Would we be seeing the same stuff? This team may just not have it in them. So my response to this question is essentially look at the Sarri and Pirlo teams and just subtract Ronaldo's goals. Subtract all of like 36 to 33 of Ronaldo's goals those seasons. You would get the same product. Honestly, you would get the same product. The only difference is we probably perform worse. It's honestly because the thing is that's the one thing I haven't seen different over the past 5 years per se, since again Allegri's last season. Same thing. It's how Sarri coached. Pirlo kind of tried to change the mold a little bit, just didn't have the experience to really go for it. But when you have players that can't play make and you have an old school coach, like for example, the reason why Carlo Ancelotti is very successful at Real Madrid is because Carlo said, let me shore up the defense and then let Modric and Toni Kroos cook. Because, like, for example, it's not Carlo Ancelotti that schemes that off. He'll say, hey, here's some weak points on Man City. Here's some things that we need to look at. But no, he trusts Luka Modric. He trusts Toni Kroos. He trusts Valverde to make plays on the pitch. He's not. Have you ever seen Ancelotti yell at his players on the field? This is Ancelotti most of the time. Allegri is the same way too, in a sense, but I think I've seen him be more animated this year than I've ever seen him before. But it's
the argument that Ancelotti is an attack-minded coach went out the window when his Milan team lost to Liverpool because he just told his players, all right, it's good to go. Like, the guy's been I'm going to let my players go do what they want forever. And it's because it's like, it's a final piece coach, right? When you have the experienced players,
he's a luxury. He's a luxury coach.
Yeah, he's a luxury coach, and it's kind of like what Allegri almost was post Conte. You build it, and then you kind of let it go and do its thing. You maintain, you freshen up with some new pieces, and then when Allegri wanted his a whole new revival of the squad, they said no. Okay, we'll bring in all.
And again, one of the reasons why PSG is looking and monitoring the Allegri situation, because they think that, again, they are an Allegri away. I kind of disagree with that. If they do lose Messi, I think that might free them up to buy a better midfield, because I would build that team to Kylian Mbappe and drop Neymar. But that's my opinion. But like, for example, PSG has an endless wage bucket, and plus Paredes will be there too. So Allegri will be happy for that. But you give Allegri a PSG, you give him a Real Madrid, hell, even a Manchester United. I can't believe I'm saying this, but he'll have them play some nasty football, but he'll get results because, again, they just have the endless wage budget. And then you have, again, a coach like Allegri that just is the cherry on the top. Do I think Allegri is a great foundational coach to build something? No, I don't really think so, because he doesn't really have a philosophy. It's not cortomuso, guys. He does not play cortomuso. It gives you the illusion that he plays cortomuso, but Allegri is, again, like a Zidane, like an Ancelotti, a low block, high counter-attacking team. It's honestly what it is. You want cortomuso, you need to watch, some tactics.
Atletico Madrid.
You watch Madrid. Diego. You look at Diego Simeone. The second a Diego Simeone team goes up one goal, everybody apparently gets cramps on the Atletico Madrid roster. Everybody either falls down,
or even Antonio Conte was way more defensive. I mean, his back five were way farther back on the low block than Allegri's. And I think people forget that. It's just they offered so much crossing ability to just dropping dimes on Llorente's head. You can afford to have guys farther back, but Kostic and Cuadrado are dribblers, not crossers. But
well, I think Kostic. Yeah, I was gonna say I think Kostic is a crosser. Cuadrado, obviously. The thing is, Cuadrado is a makeshift right wing back or a makeshift right back because Cuadrado's entire wing plays on the edge, and me and Wings of Winter right here, same thing as well. Carlo Ancelotti knows how to utilize the players he has in midfield. He puts focus on the midfield and works through the middle of the park. Allegri could never do this, especially now. Allegri did when we had a better team. I think Ancelotti is better than Allegri in that regards because Ancelotti's been through it. Ancelotti's been to the promised land as a player, and he's also been to it as a coach. I'm not saying that Allegri's better than Ancelotti. Allegri's the discount version of Ancelotti. So, like, totally there. But it's one of those things where when you look at an older style coach, the older style coaches, the old school coaches like to trust their players more. Like, for example, the difference between Pep and Ancelotti, Pep gives every single player an instruction on what to do. If you've seen All or Nothing Manchester City, that breaks down Pep Guardiola's coaching style. Great watch for anyone that's a tactical nerd like myself.
It's so good.
It's a great watch. I think that is the best All or Nothing ever. It absolutely trumps on the Juventus version of it. Way better because Guardiola sits there and this is when Arteta was a young grasshopper at the time. Both of them would just sit there and be like, okay, I need him to go here, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this. Like Pep Guardiola is the kind of guy that writes you a schedule on how you should sleep, how you should eat, and how you go to the bathroom. That is how nitpicky to the point he is.
Which in theory could be viewed as defensive as well, more so than attacking style because
it is
so much like back-ended thoughts of like, I'm doing this because of this. I'm doing this because of this, where Allegri is just more strategy. We're going to have an idea of how we're going to play. I want you to play through these wide channels, tiki-taka on the right, maybe send across. Very simple. Pep, it's almost toxic with puppeteering, joysticking. It's called for youth soccer. It's very unhealthy to joystick a youth child. They don't know how to think on their own, but adults, you don't have that problem, right?
To touch on JJ's comment here, so Allegri likes a 4-man midfield. Yeah, 100%, because again, his 2014-15 midfield for the Champions League with Juve was Pirlo, Vidal, Pogba, and Marquisio. Insane. Same thing with Milan. The argument that at Juve he doesn't know how to adapt to what he has. So when Allegri switched to the 5-star pattern in 16-17, and then kind of like a 3-man, essentially where his 3-man midfield was Khedira, Pjanic, and Dybala, because Dybala was playing as a cam at the time. I think he had it well, but again, from 16-17 till now, arguably you would say the team started to degrade. That's when the team kind of started going down. But from its apex and building up, even with the Milan midfield, where he kind of did the same kind of similar thing, Ancelotti knows, again, Ancelotti has way more experience than Allegri does. So again, this isn't me saying that Allegri isn't, is better than Ancelotti. No, not at all. But the thing is I think you're being a little bit too hard on him by saying he doesn't know how to adapt. He might not, because the thing is like you're looking at the pieces that Ancelotti adapts to versus the pieces that Allegri has. Because like if you look at Carlo Ancelotti at Everton was mid-table. They didn't push for anything. They didn't challenge for anything. Same thing with Bayern Munich as well, or even him at Bayern Munich. It's just kind of like, Ancelotti at Bayern Munich wasn't that good. Again, Everton and Bayern Munich, a lot of people don't talk about it, but Ancelotti was middle tier because that was the players that were at, not Bayern Munich, but Everton. His players weren't really the greatest. I mean, you had a James Rodriguez that was kind of at the twilights of his career, and then at Bayern Munich, they had, for me, I'm not convinced with Bayern Munich's midfield because you have Kimmich, and then you have Mueller as your cam, and then really who else? Because Sane and them and Mane are wingers in theory. So like, you ever think about that? Like maybe Gorsteka, but like I haven't seen someone in that Bayern midfield that can move the ball very well like a Schweinsteiger could back then. But I digress. I think you gotta look at it objectively. Like, for example, you look at Everton's squad and couldn't get it to work. I mean, he couldn't get Keane to work at Everton either. And Keane came in when Ancelotti was at Everton. David saying Roma today with Jose only allowed 10 minutes of actual playing time after they scored the 62nd minute. Yes, that is cortomuso. That is the definition of cortomuso. When you do Bush League tackles and you do Bush League throw-ins, that's how that works. And then he says, take my Bayern Munich talk elsewhere. I'm sorry, people. Sorry. But I think we've hit it all. We're at 3 minutes, 30 seconds. I've ranted on long enough. Guys, do you have any final thoughts before we close this bad boy?
I feel good. I feel good going into the second leg after that last second goal. Way better than I did for the first 95. The 95 minutes before that, it's like a reset button happened.
We got momentum because you get a last minute equalizer. A lot of people don't understand that, but there is a last minute equalizer that gives you some momentum here. But alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I love to shit on Bayern as a Hertha Berlin fan. There you go. I did it for you. But anyways, folks, cats and dogs, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, we're playing the old music. Nah, I'm gonna play the new one. The new one's cooler. Anyways, Frank, you got any final thoughts, man?
Yeah. You know, I gotta obviously re-speak on the fact that Federico Gatti is our best center back at the club right now, besides Danilo. So
he's a goat. His last name starts with a G.
He's the goat. He's the goat. I totally did not post a whole bunch of Gatti photos in the Discord. I'm not gonna make a fan cam. Totally not.
I won't believe you until you have a Gatti poster behind you.
I might have to get one. I might have to.
You got to. So, I'm sure I'm going to get a bunch of heat in the comments from the anti-Allegri stand people losing their mind on me, but whatever. It is what it is. But anyways, guys, thanks for tagging along for this watch along in this post-game show. To the folks that stuck here for 3.5 hours, holy shit, you guys are flipping awesome. Because I don't want to get demonetized at the end by using the F-bomb. So, guys, we're going to be out of here. I got a game to play. I got to get my GoPro. I'm going to get you some dash cam footage that I'll probably upload in the weekend. Dave and I will probably talk some Cremonese Milan and podcast episode with Mina. Good old Mina will be coming soon. And we'll be collaborating with Monchi's men. Sit there and have a conversation with those guys. And as David would say, no Sandro or Bonucci till the end of the season. All right, guys. Catch you in on the next one. Forza Juve.